Have you wanted to buy a new construction house? Well, welcome to the Landis Look, where Grace is going to give us an inside look in how she bought a brand new house and is getting exactly what she wants. Welcome, Grace.
Hi, how's it going?
Going great. So Grace is our lead buyer specialist. She is an absolute guru at helping people buy houses, and she's going to give us the true inside look at buying her own new construction house. So Grace, first of all, tell us, what precipitated your desire to make a move and get a new place?
So after selling hundreds of homes, I think I know enough about the aesthetic and design portion of this. I know enough to be dangerous. So I'm always wanting to do the next trend. And, I just have house fever. And so, my fiance and I were getting married next year, and I have had a home or been a homeowner for quite some time, but we've been wanting to get a place of our own. And so I wouldn't do anything other than new. And it's been a journey, but an exciting one.
Well, why wouldn't you do anything other than new?
Because I like bright and shiny. I like warranty. I like getting to pick everything that I want. You pick everything from like the door hinges to, it's just it's really, really enjoyable for me. And it's fun to put your own stamp on something that is brand new.
So tell us what that process was like. You're like, all right, we're going to move. We're going to get a new house. How did that go?
Absolutely. So I actually found my house off market, which was fun. So it was not on the MLS, and we bought it, or we went under contract at what I think is the perfect time in new construction. Everybody can have their different opinion on it. Like if you want to create your own floor plan and do all of that, that's totally cool. I'm pro it. But we went in right when the floor plan had been created and framing was about to begin. So we made a few modifications to that, but all in all, we didn't have to deal with permitting and architecture and drawings because that can take a really, really long time. So we went under contract when it was just starting to be framed. And so it was a really fun process from that perspective. I would definitely advise working with a designer if at all possible. Like I have, experience and have seen a lot of beautiful things, but just to stay streamlined and ensure that the design that you love stays consistent, I would recommend working with a designer. Elizabeth Hester is a multi-time past client of ours. She helped me design it. I love Elizabeth. Hi, she's amazing. And it was a really good time working with her and, just selecting what we wanted to make our dream house look like.
So you were still at the point where you could pick all of the fun things.
Yes.
That's right?
Yes. So it was, everything from, okay, where are the electrical outlets going? Where do you want your TV mount outlets going? And then it was also like the fun aesthetic piece. So, light fixtures, plumbing, backsplash tile. I went to a showroom and picked out, Elizabeth and I went and we went and picked out what all of the bathrooms and kitchens were going to look like, the cabinet colors. I elected to do a lot of upgrades as well. Like I screened the porch, added the fireplace. I kind of got myself into a little fun trouble with all of that, but the options are limitless.
I guess that is one of the risks of selecting everything is it's easier to upgrade than it is to downgrade for these selections.
Absolutely. But the upgrades, I think, make a huge difference, especially if they're important to like your day-to-day life. We would love to be able to use our deck almost year round and so we did the fireplace. It's nice to be able to pick what you want.
What was the hardest part? I'm sure there are some people listening who are thinking, man, I wonder if that's a lot of work, or I might be indecisive or whatever. What was the hardest part of the selection process?
I think the hardest part is the time that it takes. The time, and what I mean by time is two different things. So time that to pick everything. Elizabeth is fantastic, and we got to know each other so well that she would present two options because she knew what I would like, and then it made it easier for me to be like, okay, I'll pick from one of these two. But also time, by just we've been doing this for a long time and I'm so ready to be in there. So it's just you have to have patience with design selection and waiting on the house to be done. Luckily we are fortunate that our builders have been on their A game with hitting timelines. That's definitely not always the case. And even if the builder is fantastic, there are things that are outside of their control that can delay timing, like crazy weather. I mean, if the house isn't out of the ground and we have a hurricane or a crazy rain season, I mean, things can be delayed. And I've also seen some delays due to COVID, just with the city being closed and it taking longer to permit, or, have the arborists out there to sign off on the trees. I mean, building new construction, or, well, real estate as a whole is complex, but building new construction is even more complex because there's so many stages of approval. So all in all, I mean, it was worth us to wait because we're truly getting our dream house, but you have to be patient. It's not something that is just going to be created overnight or get approved overnight.
And what has that timeline been? How long ago did you go under contract? The house was in the framing phase, and then you're basically at the end, you're about to move in, right?
Yep, a week from today. Woo.
Yeah, nice.
So we went under contract. I'll always remember this date because it's one of my brother's birthdays. But we went under contract on June 22nd, and so we're closing on September 30th, and the home was in framing in June.
Yeah, that's not that long, but it's also not like instant gratification. I'm in a couple of weeks.
No, I'm like a do it now person. Like, let's get it done. I need results. Let's go. But I mean, it's just, yes, it hasn't been that long, but when you get so excited about something, it's like Christmas morning, but I'm just like, it's just waiting and waiting, and you're so excited, and it just builds. So another cool thing about the process is, like, every time you drive by the house, it's different. And it's like, fun. And right, especially at like the very end, it's like, I'm guilty of driving by almost every day. I mean, I'll knock out with my calls with work while I'm driving to and from the house, just because why not? But it's like, I went yesterday and the day before, and they had put up a whole fence in a day. And so it's just like, it's your little baby, and it's fun to watch it grow.
I love that. What's the one piece of advice you would give someone if they're thinking, I really would like to have a new house? What advice would you give somebody?
Okay, well, I have a few piees.
All right. Yeah, go for it.
Definitely work with a designer. Don't think, oh, that's so expensive when you hear designer. I mean, I wouldn't define it as low cost, but at the same time, there are a lot of options. I mean, there are a lot of cost options with the designer. So I would definitely have like a wingman in this, because it can be a separate job in itself. And then secondly, you have to have patience. Like, I know that that's hard, especially when you're creating something, but designer and patience would be my two go-tos for that. Another thing from a process perspective, it typically takes more cash on the front end. It is earnest money, or it could be a construction deposit. So you do get it back at the end, but especially if you're going to make upgrades and improve what they already had planned, they're going to ask for additional cash. So just be aware of that.
Yep. The more you customize, the more cash you need. And man, Grace, so we built our house custom, and I could not agree with you more on those 2 points of the designer and patience. And your timeline stuff is right on. It took us 7 months, I think, from the time we originally made the offer on the lot till we were building, because, part of that's our fault. I mean, you got to design it and figure out what you want, and then you got to go through the permitting, and we're in a historic district. And so, there were just a lot of steps to it. So your gratification, from June to September, ours was December to February of the year after, which is a much longer time.
What is the saying? Good things come to those who wait. So there you go.
Yeah. But to your original point, I don't think I will ever live in a house that is not brand new again. I think we are new construction from here on out. It has been great to live in. Absolutely great.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're so excited.
Awesome. Well, Grace, thanks for sharing your insight today. Everyone, thanks for watching. If you have any specific questions, do what so many of you do and drop us a private message here. We're happy to help you specifically navigate your new construction, and we will see you again next week. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Justin.